round 3.
Just like that, round 3 is on the cards. And Fish is going to talk us through the matchup.
CJ Nation, the absolute mono ice control on the left, versus Finn with mono fire on the right. This, I don't know who takes this, to be honest.
Pass. I think Amateur Ice goes a long way, deals with a lot of potential threats on CJ's board. And it depends on how aggressive CJ is with his discards.
Well,
Because, a lot of your threats do just die to EX bursts and things like that, so...
But then, because the one thing that obviously CJ does have to worry about is the Montleonis, because he has no way to interact with the break zone and no am out of his own, so he has to try and go heavy with a discard, I think, in order to fight this. But Finn just opening up with a Geomancer. And CJ... Wow, ditching an IMO, he's going straight into an Alcid. Looks like he's going with kind of an aggro play here.
Alcid Rufus.
Oof. No freeze. Wow, and we got Chaos in the deck as well. That's a bit crazy.
Is he going to play... he might play Laswell here.
Has he? Yeah, I think he's going for it. Wow, CJ, even though he does have the option to go control, he does also have the option to go heavy aggro.
Which is exactly what he's done. Chosen violence.
Definitely chosen violence, that is for sure. But Laswell is a tricky one, even though it's only 5k.
This is the issue with this matchup, though, is that you've gone all in on this strat, and Fire does have access to removal.
Yeah. It looks like Finn's just checking the wording on his demon. I'm wondering if he's got a way to occur that. But we don't see a lot of
maybe a selfie, selfie.
Like we don't see a lot of Susanoo anymore. So I think it is just the demon that is the option probably here.
Well,
but CJ was telling me apparently, and obviously correct me if we're wrong here, the way to sort of beat Mono Ice is just ignore it and play backups.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Now, I think it's all well and good to say that, but when in theory you could be discarding a couple of the cards every turn, changes that up a bit.
I know, but the problem is, if you give in to the strategy of playing forwards and it gets dealt with by Dull and Freeze, you then got no resources to get back in the game. Whereas if you get discarded but you're up to 0 but you're up 5 backups, you've got 7 CP to play and a card to play with.
Ooh. Well, Finn choosing the latter, going with the ward, deals 7 to the Rufus.
Killing the Rufus, so it's a real nice response from Finn there.
But again,
what sort of follow-up have we got from CJ?
It looks like he's got
Odin, so we could go to Limit Break Cloud here.
Yeah, and I think that might be what he's thinking.
I feel like you have to put some more pressure on. You're invested into this strategy now. Your Laswell will get a discard if it gets to attack them.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, if we could in theory play an ice forward somehow. Ooh,
And the Clouds, the Alcid is on turn, on the field, will represent a dull attack trigger as well.
Yeah. It's just like, again, do you really want to break it though and then cause another cloud, another ward to be potentially played? But we are going with the Cloud. And here we go. Laswell goes in. First damage is a Princess Goblin. And
nice.
A Goblin.
So
2 goblins
do
down.
you dodge the EX burst? Go to end step.
Yeah, discard. That's going to start hurting. There is that selfie. But couldn't be played, which is unfortunate. Because we chose to play the ward instead. CJ now probably very happy that he has gone with this strategy and that Finn is answering in the exact way that he wants.
Ooh,
he's got a Toto in hand. That Toto is going to cost 1.
So Finn, hoping he survives here.
Did he pull a Lufenian there?
If he did, that is...
It's just cruel and unusual punishment.
But I mean, the Laswell will discard down to 0 anyway.
Yeah, this is a fair point. Oh,
absolutely no help from EX burst from
just absolute. We say never punished on this channel. Someone is getting punished today. He is on 5. There's the discard backup gone. He could have been playing Alan Curve. Again, if he'd have played the selfie and maybe just gone all in to the backups, like we mentioned earlier, different game entirely. Yeah, also apologies, guys, while we're waiting on decisions here, that we couldn't bring you Jenny for a little bit of a chat, because sadly we run out of time, and so we just decided, well...
Yeah, they were one of the last games of the round, and we're not about finishing late here, so we're like, let's just head straight on to the next round.
Yeah, exactly that, and there will only be 4 rounds tonight, guys, so just as a heads up on that one. And again, do check us out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I believe. We should be doing all 3 days next week. Starting at around 7:30 p.m. on Monday for Space Marine 2 with Next Dimension Arcade. That's our YouTube channel.
I was going to say, do we just swing and dump?
Yeah, so this is over.
Yep.
This was so very over.
Because we had the Amaterasu in hand, we needed to really Amaterasu the Al Cid in response to it attacking.
I mean, a trigger still goes on the stack, though. But not with that.
There's nothing to Amaterasu.
No, there isn't. If he would have attacked with the Al Cid first, it would have, but not that it matters.
Yeah.
Well, that game's over.
I think it was all over. It is now.
Absolutely. This time, guys, we can guarantee we will bring you CJ. So we will be back with you very shortly with an interview.
And just like that, as quick as the game was over,
Let me get in the camera.
CJ's...
What's going on? What it is, what it is.
My ice brother.
My ice. This is the man who taught me what ice was. My first day here, Jacko showed me exactly how to play ice.
Yeah.
You sit there, you discard them, you don't let the other guy play. Sometimes you throw facades to enjoy yourself some
And
cards.
that's what you did. That's exactly what you did.
This is exactly what he showed me how to do. He was like, I'm so sorry, CJ. I know you're new to the game, but this is just how the deck plays. Discarded my hand and played facades. So I was like, oh. So one person just sits there, gets their backup still frozen, and then you just attack them until they're dead.
And you were like, you know what? I want in on that.
I was like, you know what? The anniversary pack is looking a bit cheap right now.
Yeah, I want in.
Ice Lightning's there. Let's get cooking. Let's cook some ice out here. I'll become the next Aokiji.
Well, mate, it all goes through then, because the matchup, 105 can sometimes be tricky if they're running lots of EX bursts. Obviously, didn't really hit any relevant ones on that one.
No.
Were you always, in your head, were you always like, I'm going to go hard early, just to try and get that early pressure, or did you just look at opening hand and was like, I need to do this now?
So my first hand was very, very aggressive, I think. I remember, because there was a Sephiroth in my opening hand as well, but I was like, I don't want to back attack Sephiroth in one. I didn't want to initially play aggressive.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what I was playing against.
Sure.
And that can go 2 ways. There's 16 backups in there at the moment. 13, 14 backups in there at the moment. Emina's in there, Edward's in there. So I was planning to play a little bit slow today. Because I wanted to test out Xenos, and I liked it in practice. So I was like, let me try Xenos today.
Yeah.
And then I saw Mono Fire, and I thought, well, unless this guy's playing Shinryu, I can't really be punished for Al Cid Laswell.
Yeah, I mean...
So I was like, you know what? We're here. Play the Al Cid, see what he does. Does he have the Ami? Because if it's Ami, fine, discard 3. That's fine. I can discard 3, you can discard 3. The thing I like about Ice, and I like for myself, the reason I started playing Ice aggressively, one day I was working a hard day. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was really tired. And I said, let me just play a simple game, play aggressive. I want to play a simplified game state.
Yeah.
So if he just had the Ami, I was going to say, he discards 3, I discard 3, no problem.
Yeah.
That's just
equal rights, and then you just play that, and then you can still play the Laswell.
I can still play the Laswell.
You don't freeze his only backup.
Exactly. So then if he's got
playing off top deck.
If he's got an odd colour backup, Laswell's a discard too. If he can't deal with Laswell, he's discarding this. It's just discard Haven. So it was just unfortunate that he didn't have anything. In my hand, I believe I had Zera and I had Unilasker in hand as well. And I was just like, I saw it and I was like, I don't need to Unilasker.
You had the option to go back.
I had the option to go backups, but I just saw it as Mono Fire. I know that if the game goes long, it's not great for me. I could have tested the Xenos Edward stuff on stream to see if that could have beaten a Mono Fire in a long game.
Yeah.
But they dropped the Monthly in this, then they dropped the Tyverse into the Axar. They got 6 forwards on board, and you're like,
But I guess that is the power of the Xenos Edward combo, though, is that you proactively try and get rid of their threat, so that if they eventually want Leonis, you've got rid of a lot of the key things, and then and you leave your Edward up that whenever they do try and want Leonis, you can at least get rid of one of the two things, the scarier of the two things.
It's not bad. It is a decent play. It is something that I do want to test today because I was enjoying it in practice. But I think everybody looks across from me and just sees Black Aokiji and says, "I'll go first."
Yeah.
Sorry, not I'll go first. People start choosing to go second against me. I lost my first 2 games today. Because everyone keeps on choosing to go second.
What's to have more cards in hand?
Yeah, so I have less cards in hand. Yeah, so they just they have discarded.
They have more. I have
less. So it's just been like, It's been a difficult day. I've been looking at them trying to keep a straight face, but really I've been seething.
Next
When
week-
somebody else says second, I'm seething because I know they're just saying second because of me.
Next week, you need to go for like the most like aggro thing that can go off turn one. You can play chaos.
I'm
Just,
thinking about
like,
playing a control deck
turn-
because
turn one.
control decks benefit from going first, don't they? Because
yeah.
you get your backups
I mean,
down first.
to be truthful, most decks benefit from going
Which is
first.
why it doesn't make sense. Why everybody's just picking second. That's how I know people are picking second just because they know. Everyone's looking me straight in the eye saying, "I'll go second."
You've got a big old target on your back.
Truly, it's been so long. I've been streaming for ages. If you guys want to beat Mono Ice, all you have to do is play out your backups, ignore the damage. It's not that big of a deal. Play your backups out, empty your hand, and don't let me go second. Yeah. And finally, people started listening, and now I'm upset about it. But
And
it's
to be
my
fair,
fault.
most decks as well run, especially most of the top tier decks, run enough like EX Plus to just let them draw cards. So you can afford to just play out those backups because, and I said this sort of at the
Exactly.
start of the stream when at the game when Fish mentioned that as well, because it's the thing. At some point in the game against Mono Ice, you are going to be on 0 cards in hand. Like it just happens at some point, especially with the printing of IMO. You're much better being at 0 cards in hand with 5 backups or 3 backups at least than you are with like some forwards that are now dull and frozen.
Actually,
and-
so I'll play whenever I'm playing with people. I like to offer them to switch decks because I know I've made them miserable at some point or another, especially if I've beaten them. I'll say let's swap decks, and I'll say to them just ignore what I'm doing, ignore what the ice player's doing. Play your backups, get rid of as many cards from your hand as possible, just play your backups, and then eventually you turn a corner where you've got more CP available to you than I can play forwards. And I'm not able to discard you because you played the backups from your hand, so you don't have CP to discard.
And especially the nature of the Mono Ice list that you play as well, like it's very much a deck where you either win 7-0 or you like lose 7-6 or something like that.
That's very
amount of
much
times
so
you
there.
get to that 6 damage and then you just can't quite
You
get
can't
yourself
get
over.
over. You need like certain things that I had to take out of the deck because Chaos is on loose.
Yeah.
So I've taken out a lot of like the rewarding stuff. Like I took out the crystals for Shantoto.
Yeah.
I took out Phasalis. I've took out a lot of your opponents on empty, so you can get rewards for it.
I mean, to be fair, I've also taken Phasalis out of my Mono Ice list just because I feel like it's not the best. Don't get me wrong, it's a great card.
It is
It was
wonderful.
one of the best ice cards we had for a while. But there's another good. There's enough good other stuff that benefits. And actually, I would if I'm going to be at 0, if I can get them to 0 cards in hand, if I'm paying 5 CP, I would so much rather that card be Icon of icons than be Phasalis. Like, why do I want it to be like Del Freeze one thing, draw a card, but I can Del Freeze your entire board and
Phasalis-
cut you out for a turn?
The interesting thing about Phasalis for me is that I don't value my cards that highly. So I think that me drawing a card, which is also 2 CP, and my opponent losing a card or them drawing a card is completely different. Even though they're both 2 CP, that simplified game state where you're starving somebody of resources is what you want from ice. You want them in the frozen tundra begging for every scrap of food, thinking about whether or not to cut off their leg to get a little bit. This is literally what, when you're playing multicolor, when you're playing multi-element, this is what it is. You're just throwing away the CP that you need to play your next draw, and you're thinking, crap, if I kept that card, I'd be in such a good position. But that's what
how
you
many
want from
times
them.
have people been in that position?
The multi-element one is just like, this is, so initially I was playing a game, I played Control like you did initially,
Yeah.
and I played a really annoying game against a Raffia player. And
I mean, that is just like an absolute bane.
it
of that
was
deck.
just like, so the entire mechanic of my deck just doesn't work. And that was when I was like, let me just play this discard version, it beats Raffia, and like multi-element is so punished by discard, because it's like they just don't have the CP.
Especially they don't get set up, because like their top decks aren't live.
Yeah, they just
get
don't work.
the top decks, but a lot of the time...
And then they've discarded
if
CP to
if
play
they're
them.
not set up, like they can't get them up. And then I guess limit break decks have gone a way to like mediate that to some degree, but it's still like life can be difficult. So yeah, in those games you do have to be super accurate with the discards.
There's also an experience issue as well. So not a lot of people play ice the way I do. So like not a lot of multi-element players are used to like the
Playing
stress of
against
it.
it.
I think it has a mental effect on people having to throw away the cards they've just been agonizing to decide what to put in. And people actually, a lot of multi-element players don't remember limit break as well as they should. They don't just play the body, they just don't really do it. So there's definitely an experience.
Well, a lot of those decks anyway, you have to a lot of it is careful planning of your CP. Everything's done efficiently. I mean, Final Fantasy in general is a game of sort of efficient planning, and like a lot of the top players that you see, like CP is never wasted. Like we often see it on stream. We often see some people who like they will tap one backup, discard a card, leave 2 backups up. and then never actually use them. And it comes back to their turn, and they don't untap them. And I was like, well, you discard a card for no reason.
Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the top players, you'll see everything's
It'll
a lot
never
more
happen.
efficient, and they have to plan things carefully. So yeah, discard obviously just
I've
helps sort
actually-
of interrupt that a little bit.
It's very, very good. I've actually had an issue with that myself because playing the Sephiroth and the Alcid, sometimes I have the backups. I'll have 4 or 5 backups down, but then you still have to discard a card, and I don't have a follow-up play, so I end up just sitting on 2 CP up.
Yeah.
So it is a problem, and I don't like it. But the fact that you don't like it shows that you know you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
That's the first step. Know how you're messing up, and then fix
Insight.
it. No, you got to have that insight.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Whereas
it's
they talk about that quadruple of things. It's like unconsciously.
Yeah, unconsciously unskilled, and then
unskilled,
consciously unskilled, and then consciously skilled, and then unconsciously skilled.
And where are you now?
Where am I now, bro? I think that I have an issue. So my issue is that I'll stick with something for a long past this time, and we've gotten to that point where it's like I am getting metagamed by people just saying I'm going to pick second because I love the deck so much. I think I'm unconsciously unskilled, not realizing that it's time to switch decks.
So you're about to go back round.
I'm at the bottom, bro.
Unconsciously unskilled. You're on the curb.
I'm at unconsciously unskilled.
You're on the curb.
I'm at the bottom, bro. And it's time to climb back up.
You will turn it around. If I have faith in anything, it's that CJ is going to be turning it around.
Bro, I'm sat here thinking about playing control like you. I'm going to switch to control. People are going to be picking second against me. I was like, okay. All right,
wow.
bro.
Behind the scenes, I'll send you the list and maybe we'll see.
That's what I was in the bathroom thinking. I need to get me some Shinryu, bro. I'm gonna get some Shinryu and just play. I'll just play control. Everybody wants to pick second against me. Fine.
Sick card.
Shinryu is what you need. That break option, bro. Do you still play Russian in your main deck?
No.
No Russian. Not fun. Okay.
I don't think so. Or maybe I got rid of one.
Yeah, you can get rid of one. Because you don't want to see it. You don't want to see it early.
At 1. I'm either at 0 or 1.
I think
I've gone up on
because of Anima, right?
Well, yeah, and also I've gone up on Ultimishas. So I'm
Which
now running
Ultimisha?
the 5CP
What
Ultimisha.
does it do?
If you can get rid of like any number of 5 CP characters,
that one.
and then
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
freeze.
yeah. That
'Cause-
one's
so
really good.
between Ultimisha, Kurosame,
And Anima
Icon Icons, Kate Sith,
You're
and
skipping 3, 4
Mateus,
What does I've never even
2 CP summon, freeze all your opponent's backups. Between all your opponent's forwards. Between all those cards, that's 5 different cards that I'm keeping the whole board frozen.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. If you've got some little bit of discard on there as well,
Yeah.
then they're just cooked. But yeah, man.
But anyway, that list is behind closed doors.
Oh, sorry for exposing you. You didn't hear that here.
Yeah.
Or did you heard it here first.
We're gonna cut off.
Yeah, we're done here. That was all lies.
We're gonna get ready
Jacko's
for the
a
next
big
round.
mono 5 here.
Yeah,
Get your
always
timebuses
happens.
in. Get your mono
Always
Leonidas in.
happen.
Come on now.
Right, but just like that, we are gonna leave it there. We're gonna give you a right back. But cheers for chatting, bro.
Thank you for having me, man.
We will catch you guys in the next round.